Hello everybody and welcome back to The Doll Beneath. So, we're finally on chapter 3, on episode 3. And I'd like to finally beat this episode, so we can finally move on to episode 4. God, this game is long. It really is. Like, I think in total each episode has been roughly around 6 hours thus far. Huh? Is that... Yuko, you're back. Just on time, too. Just on time. Take a look at this. You're not gonna believe it. Menemi, Kyoshi, what are you doing here? Shouldn't you be looking for Moira? Yuko, look. Remember this? It's the stuff from the losing light. Well, what? Stuff from the losing light? Wait, is that the desolvent? How is that here? Is that what it was called? The name completely flew over my head. It turns out that moronic doctor had some of that stuff stored here as well. Not just that, but we think it's powering something on the upper levels. This isn't just an area to store it. It's also being used elsewhere. Here, look at this. Yoshi handed me some sort of notebook. The final test has concluded. Results were exceptional, with no signs of defects. This is likely the final batch we'll ever be able to use, so just in case, be sure to always keep the solvent laboratory closed off. It's already connected to the roof's external power system, so there shouldn't be any reason for anyone to go in there. Camden University has no idea I even have this stuff, so we should be very careful with how we use it. One slip up and it could all come crashing down in an instant. The solvent will keep our facility safe. As long as we put it to good use, we should be just fine. Project Godkiller still has a long way to go, but with proper upkeeping and maintenance, the device will far exceed all of our other creations. Set the proximity generator to 50% every 2 hours and calculate the system's heat unit on a daily basis. I don't want any other issues going forward. We need this in an operational state before things get worse outside. Godkiller will be our only defense against the darkening, so don't get distracted. It's life or death now. So we were right. She really does have access to the solvent. But how? I thought only the losing light had this stuff. How did she get it from Camden University? No idea, but something tells me that's where we should head next. This is the second time that old university has been brought up. If they really are producing this crap, then we need to find out how. If we get our hands on this, it could save the entire world. We'd be heroes. Minus the fact that there's a strand standing right in front of you. Hey, speaking of which, is Alethea a strand? Because if she is, that could prove to be quite problematic. But Menemi, not all strands are bad. Take Dell, for example. He didn't attack us a single time. He was even willing to help guide me through the hive mind when I got stuck inside. He was really helpful. Guide you? Were you the one that killed Aolia? Look, it's not what you think. Huh. Maybe we do stand a chance. If you were able to take down an elder, then perhaps you humans aren't as weak as I thought. With a little luck, we might just be able to take down Morse. We might. I guess that's supposed to be we might. Eh? Don't worry, kid, I'm not angry. As a matter of fact, I'm kind of impressed. Alia was always a thorn in my side. She was always off doing her own thing in that disgusting nightclub. I'm honestly not even surprised. She was bound to get herself killed sooner or later. I suppose that's one of the downsides of being an elder. Keeping even a hint of your human memories is always going to be bad news. Huh? But wait, didn't you say that elders don't retain any of their memories? Did Alia still have some left over? Sort of. It varies from person to person. Most of the time, though, elders have zero recollection of their past selves. There might be a few hints and pieces left over, but it's usually never enough to fully remember who they once were. However, there are rare cases of Strand slowly beginning to recover their lost memories. It doesn't happen often, but it can happen. And when it does occur, the Strand will usually end up killing themselves by the end of it. Alia was probably one of the few that actually managed to regain some of her memories. Her willpower must have been really strong, thus why she held on for so long. She probably spent so much time in that nightclub that her past self was beginning to overwrite the Strand inside of her. Typically, if the Strand returns to a place they were once familiar with as a human, they'll be more likely to remember as time goes on. I see. So would you say that Moores is in that same demographic? You said Moores couldn't possibly remember who he once was. Maybe he did remember. Perhaps the Strand we're dealing with isn't just an elder, but a human as well. A human? Not possible. Even if he did manage to remember, the human inside of him is long gone. There's no way he'd have any recollection of his previous life. You said it yourself. He knew about us at the Losing Light, which could only mean one thing. He either once worked at the Losing Light or somehow knew of the Dollhouse project before all of this started. Both scenarios are equally alarming, because if he knew about us beforehand, that means he's playing at a much bigger game than most of us think. If that's the case, then that must mean he even knew about the Project Shift. Huh? Originally, the Losing Light plan was a simple social experiment. Then, as the Darkening began to take over, they changed the scope of the project and used us as test subjects for a cure. That means if Moores knew about our immunity, he was still alive during the invasion. He was still a human during Project Dollhouse. That actually explains a lot. Interesting. He might be onto something. But if that's the case, then what role does he play in all of this? You know, sometimes I feel like the closer we get to the truth, the more confusing this gets. Agreed. Oh, what is Emmy up to? What is all this stuff? Was this being used to power the brain? No, I don't think so. God Killer Signal Unit. What the heck is God Killer? Whatever it is, it can't be good. I should probably take another look around this floor. There might be something worth checking out. Oh, do we get to play as Emmy now? Oh, cool. Terminal. Relay link active. Not sure what this does. So I know exactly where Emmy is. She's in this upper part. Yeah, I think those terminals are going to come to play here in a little bit. But where do we need to go with Emmy? Oh. I should probably find the others. There's not much else to search up here. Really hope Yuko is okay. I wonder if she managed to destroy the brain. Huh? Oh. Is this a mirror? Whoa. The moment I put my hand over the glass exterior, my entire body began to vibrate. What is this thing? There was one on the reserve floor as well. Is it a door of sorts? I'm curious. What if I kept my hand... No matter what she's planning, we have to put a stop to it. And Alethea is going to help us. I am? She is? Have you lost your mind, Yuko? She's a Strand. She's not going to help us. All she cares about is infecting people. In what world do you think a Strand could ever befriend a human? But Del. Stop talking about Del, like he even did anything. That idiot is the reason we're even here to begin with. If not for him, we would have probably found a way out of the city by now. But Menemy, whether you want to believe me or not, she's on our side. I've made sure of it personally. Just give her a chance. I promise, you won't regret it. Huh. This is so stupid. Why are we trusting a literal Strand? Aren't they our enemy? For the time being, no. Alethea has helped out a lot more than you think. She's staying with us, whether you like it or not. What was that noise? What the heck? In the midst of our conversation, a small, brightly lit monitor lowered itself down on top of us. Hello and welcome to the first annual set of Ego Trials. Brought to you by yours truly, Dr. Moira Layton, Technological Extraordinaire. Ego Trials? God damn it. What's that psycho planning now? My, no need to be rude. I was merely being formal. You can hear us? Of course I can hear you. I have eyes and ears all throughout the facility. There isn't a single place you can go to escape me. So what? Are you here to taunt us? Is that it? Sorry to break it to you, but I destroyed the brain. All of your androids are disabled. Without them, you're powerless. Oh, but that's where you're wrong. You see, I don't need the androids to hurt you. There's a lot more inside this tower I can use against you, and you've only seen a fraction of it. For example, remember those blue mirrors you've seen scattered throughout the facility? Have you ever tried touching one of them? No, and I don't plan on it. They're probably a trap anyway. Oh wow, you're a lot smarter than you look. Your friends, on the other hand, not so much. What are you talking about? What do you plan on doing? You see, when the Darkening first arrived, I came up with ways to try to hide from them and buy myself time to develop a weapon. One of these methods of hiding were the mirrors. Upon touching one of my many mirrors, you essentially fall right into my own pocket dimension. Once inside, there's no getting out. Everything that goes on inside is controlled by me, and everything that occurs inside stays inside. Your friends, Kyoko and Emmy, they're about to learn this the hard way. Leave Kyoko and Emmy alone. When did Kyoko get, like, absorbed in the mirror? They have nothing to do with this. Aren't we all on the same side? Why are you doing this? Not anymore, we're not. But don't worry, it'll be fun. Now that Emmy and Kyoko are in my world, I'll be sure to make their final moments an absolute spectacle. Starting from now, these two will both undergo a certain set of trials. To make things more interesting, they will both have unique themes. You guys will be the audience, watching and waiting for your friends to bite the dust. Doesn't that sound great? Doesn't this sound fun? Oh, Nara, look at me now. If only I had integrated you. Watching and waiting? What kind of sick game is this? The time for talk is over. It's time for the game to begin. The game of Equinox. Let's start with Emmy. She's a novelist, right? Hopefully she enjoys my little story I put together for her. As I slowly began to open my eyes, I could feel a slight breeze lightly caress the surface of my skin. Huh? I mumbled to myself. What's going on? Where am I? As I opened my eyes, I was immediately hit with the smell of fish. The faint back and forth movement of the sea struck me with a strange sense of ease. Am I on the beach? I asked myself. Why the hell am I on the beach? Wasn't I just inside Ego Tower? Then it hit me. Why was I able to hear my own thoughts? As I slowly opened the remainder of my eyes, my brain quickly caught onto the fact that I couldn't hear myself. Yet at the same time, felt as if I could hear every thought and idea floating through the depths of my own head. Hello? Can anyone hear me? Nothing. Despite my cry for help, all I could hear was the distant sound of the sea and the occasional seagull flying by. My voice had been completely nullified despite being able to speak just fine a moment ago. What the hell was going on? Where was I? How did I even end up outside? Despite the amount of thoughts racing through my head, I had little time to look for an answer. Just beyond the horizon, I could see a faint glimmer of a house on top of a mountain. Survivors, perhaps? Just before I began to make my tread up the cliff, my eyes caught a glimpse of a reflective bright light shining down by the coast near a couple of rocks. I have to do something. I can't just sit here. I have to figure out where I am. Welcome to the Neuralink. Oh, it's gotta be one of these. Okay. Investigate the bright light. Without hesitation, I quickly made my own way down the mountain. Despite my best efforts, my wheelchair would occasionally get stuck, sometimes causing me to stop and unjam it. However, with much determination, I eventually made it down the mountain. As I grew closer to the lights, I was quick to realize it wasn't just an object. It was actually, in fact, a set of old rusty doors broken off the hinges, half plopped over in the dirt. Hidden beneath the mountain was an entrance to a bunker, and since the doors were wide open, I could enter it at any given moment. Why was this here? Did it bear any significance to the situation at hand? Without a thought in the world, I opened up what was left of the door and entered the damp bunker. My wheelchair squeaked with unease, and the middle door wailed as it unveiled the contents of the bunker. The interior had been even flooded with mud and water, and the walls had been covered in an absorbent amount of graffiti. Despite only just going inside, I was no longer able to proceed further. Traversing deeper in the bunker would have completely damaged my wheelchair, and would have rendered me permanently immovable. However, as I look around, I was able to make out some of the text written on the wall. Beware the siren. Don't listen. Run while you can. The text had been sloppily made, thus making it near impossible to read the rest. There's not much else here. I suppose I should try to get back up the mountain, I said to myself. However, right as I was about to leave, I was hit with an immense amount of pain in my right eye. A stream of warm liquid slowly dripped down the top of my face, quietly making a horrific puddle beneath me. Blood. Unable to speak, I watched in horror as something had plucked the socket of my eye without even knowing it. Blood spewed out of the veins of my eye socket, continuing to muddy the ever-growing puddle beneath my wheelchair. What? I hovered my hand over my eye in an attempt to stop the bleeding, still unaware of the cause at hand. As I backed away towards the entrance of the bunker, my entire wheelchair flipped over, tripping over some sort of wire hidden beneath the door. I quickly fell face first into the ground, with still bleeding out from the lethal puncture wound. As an attempt to lift myself off the ground, the wire I had tripped set off some sort of mechanism, causing yet another set of needles to fall down on top of me and stab multiple parts of my body, including my back. Heat filled the inner parts of my body, as I could easily feel more puncture wounds open up at the cause of these traps. No matter how hard I tried, my weakened efforts became something of pure futility. I could feel the life draining out of my body as I painfully tried to pull myself back onto my wheelchair. More needles made their way into my back, sending me flying down into the muddy water. Now beginning to drown, I found myself completely helpless, continuously being shot at by waves of needles and sharp objects. Just like that, Emmy would soon meet her end by the likes of the traps set up around the bunker. It didn't take long for Emmy's lifeless corpse to begin drifting away deeper into the bunker, never to be found again by the likes of humans. That is effing brutal. Of course that's a game over. But Jesus Christ, that was brutal. Straight up to the house. Something about the light gave off a strange sense of dread. I was able to explain it, but despite its odd nature, I continued on up the hill towards the lonesome house. Perhaps someone was still around and could explain what hell had been going on. Within minutes, I found myself halfway up the hill with the house already in full view. After nearly tripping over a bunch of rocks, I found myself sitting in front of a gigantic manor. Due to my elevation, the wind was at an all-time high, continuously blowing my hair from side to side like a melody. I could feel my ears begin to pop as I moved myself closer to the front entrance. The house had been made out of a mixture of wood and slab stone. The windows were blurry, making it impossible to see inside. Also, the trees surrounding the exterior were either completely absent or half chopped down in the middle of the walkway. With a lot of much-needed effort, I navigated my way towards the front door, moving aside numerous amounts of bushes and log piles to get there. As I inched closer, I could hear the faint sound of music coming from inside the house. The door had been wide open as if tempting me to enter. Eventually, I pulled myself up the steps on the front porch and entered the house on the mountainside. As soon as I entered, however, the faint music quickly faded. My brain wasn't able to make out exactly what I had been hearing, so I wasn't even sure if it was actually music. Upon entering the manor, I was quickly greeted to a hall of books, dinery, and fancy ornaments alike. Ancient framed paintings covered the walls, as well as various amounts of memorabilia and photos I knew nothing about. The house felt abandoned, yet occupied at the same time. There had been signs of someone living here, yet not a single soul could be seen in sight. "Hello," I yelled out. "Is anyone there?" No response. I wasn't able to place it, but something about this house had felt familiar. Almost like I had once been here at some point or another. Was it a part of my childhood? No, certainly not. I feel like I would have remembered a place like this. Suddenly I hear a noise come from the hall nearby. My head perks up in fear, nearly jumping out of my wheelchair in the process. I instinctually back into a corner, bumping straight into the wall of paintings on accident. To my left is a staircase that both goes up into the second floor, as well as down into what I presume to be the basement. Both options being viable alternatives to whatever noise I heard from down the hall. Oh God. Investigate the noise. I can't let a simple noise get the best of me. If I want to figure out where I am, I have to be brave. I have to be useful, just like Kiyoshi. Turning away from the staircase, I slowly make my way down the hall, inching ever so closer to the origin of the noise. As I pass what looks like a bedroom, I could hear the faint sound of shuffling come from the other side of the door. Using what I already knew, this must have been the room the noise came from. I hesitantly hovered my hand over the doorknob and turned it with ease. Inside appeared to be an empty room. There were 2 windows on the opposite wall. However, despite that, the room had been made completely void of any furniture. As I entered the room, I took notice of 2 small objects on the floor. One item had been a small rectangular tape recorder with a small piece of yellow tape attached to the side that reads "Play Me." The other item sitting right next to it was a pistol. It appeared to be a very old and looked to be of the World War II era. After some thought, I slowly bent over and picked up the tape recorder. Unsure on how to use it at first, it took me a good minute to find the play button. However, after a minute of looking it over, I pushed my finger down on the button on the back, somehow managed to switch it on. "Hello, Emmy. I would like to play a game." I don't know, like a weird empty room with a tape recorder and a pistol on the floor. That sounds like something Jigsaw would do. Although it would be like probably a little bit more brutal. Is this a siren song? Oh no. Sounds just like the song I created for my novel. Suddenly, I lose all control over my body. Beads of sweat begin to form in the base of my head as I quickly bend over and grab the gun. What am I doing? I tried to yell out, but nevertheless, despite my best effort, a clear and concise form of a sentence refused to be formed, as my body starts to shake violently. Without any proper thought, my arm lifts itself up to the side of my head, pointing the barrel of the pistol straight my own self. What's happening to me? Please stop. Make it stop. What did I just tell you? Well, what did I just listen to? Why can't I control myself? Why is my own body acting on its own volition? The harder I try to pull away, the more my arm fights against me. Without my own doing, my finger sets itself on the trigger, ready to fire. I can feel my blood run cold as the haunting realization was slowly beginning to sink in. And no, please, make it stop. Make it stop. I don't want to die. I don't want to. Well, I got another death. Okay, let's not investigate the noise. We can either go into the basement or go upstairs. Actually, how will Emmy... Basement, I guess? I turned myself around and made my way down the staircase. Whatever that noise was, couldn't have been good, and I wanted no part of it. Well, I probably killed myself again. As I made my way down the staircase, I found myself stood in front of an open hatch leading downwards. Given how I could exactly get down without breaking my wheelchair, I opted to find another way around. To my right was another set of small stairs leading into the same room. Wanting to avoid any unnecessary injuries, I slowly edged myself closer and closer to the bottom of the stairwell. Slowly but surely, I made my way down the stairs. After reaching the bottom, I suddenly found myself inside an old, dusty basement, which was obviously being neglected for quite some time now. Searching around, I found nothing of worth pointing out. The majority of the basement had been covered in cobwebs, and the floor was littered in rust and dirt alike. At the other end of the basement, however, I quickly took notice of a painting hidden off in the nearby corner. The painting was of a girl who looked eerily similar to me. Her hair was slightly shorter, but her eyes remained near identical to mine. Her pose was one of a very sophisticated manner, sitting in an old striped cotton rocking chair, slightly hunched backwards, staring directly into the camera. That me? I asked myself. Why is there a painting of me? Oh, god damn it. Suddenly, as I began to make my way back towards the staircase, the floor opened up beneath me, revealing a trapdoor of some kind. My wheelchair quickly lost traction, falling straight into the newly found hole below. Fell to my death. Without even giving her a chance, Amy plunged deep into a trapdoor, bringing both her as well as her middle wheelchair to their inevitable doom. The fall was instantaneous, killing her instantly. Help someone. Oh, just kidding. Please help someone. Eventually, however, Emmy would soon succumb to her injuries. Her body would forever remain trapped at the bottom of the house, never to be found again. I mean, visually you can't see it, but like, given like the descriptors, this house is brutal as hell. This whole section is brutal as hell. So we investigated the noise and went down to the basement. Only one more thing to do, and that's to go upstairs. I turned myself around and made my way up the staircase. Whatever that noise was, couldn't have been good, and I wanted no part of it. After making it to the top of the stairs, I was easily able to overlook the main hall. The rails blocked the sides were extremely dusty, and looked as if they were to break at any given moment. The chandelier hanging from above gave off a strange sense of comfort as I hastily made my way deeper into the house. Eventually, I found myself stood in front of a very modern-looking door. At the top, read the sign of private access only. Was this perhaps an office of sort? Without even thinking, I twisted the metal doorknob and entered. Upon entering, I was hit with a strong smell of fish and decay. The wallpaper had been completely torn and the carpet was old, wet, and likely moldy. On the walls were leather-like taxidermy heads ranging from cows, moose, and even wolves. As I made my way into the middle of the room, my eyes quickly caught a glimpse of a small blue whistle lying on the top of the desk near the window. After picking it up, I suddenly realized there was a note attached to it. It was extremely crumpled together, and the handwriting was near illegible at most times. However, after a couple minutes of reading, my brain quickly became accustomed to the terrible handwriting. To whomever might find this, if you're reading this, then I am already dead. There's a legendary creature afoot, and it's bound for nothing but bloodshed. If you have somehow made it to my house in one piece, then I'm afraid it might be too late. The siren has already consumed my soul. Now that I have heard its song, I'm afraid the fate of my life has already made its own bed. Soon enough, I as well will succumb to her voice. Just like the others, there'll be no end to the constant suffering caused by the siren's song. My only hope now is to use the whistle handed down to me by my grandmother, and I hope I can seal away the evil caused by this accursed creature of the depths before it's too late. In the event I am to fail, you as well must pick up my torch and carry out my mission. I've trapped both my house as well as Davy's old bunker down beneath the mountain. It won't kill it, but it should at least slow it down in the event it tries to come after me. I've done my part to rid my home of evil. Now it comes down to you. Finish what I have started. Kill the siren. The siren? Wait, is this referring to my book? How does Dr. Layton know about my story? Is she a fan? Nevertheless, I picked up the whistle and stared out the window. What was this place? Why was I here? Where is everybody? Suddenly, as soon as I attempted to take a minute to think, I was quickly interrupted by a noise coming from outside the room. Something was coming. I have to hide. Oh, great. Another multiple choice. Well, just two choices, actually. Let's hide under the desk. I positioned myself over behind the desk and crawled underneath. As I was beginning to hold my breath, I quickly noticed my wheelchair begin to roll away. I tried to stop it, but despite trying, it was already too late. All I could do now was hide and hope whatever was about to come inside didn't find me. Slowly but surely, the strange anomaly made its way over to the desk, before eventually turning around towards the nearby bookcase. Okay, so the bookcase was the wrong decision. Was it the man from the note? Was he still alive? Or was it something else? I held the blue whistle in my hand as I lightly creeped over to sneak a peek. Though I wasn't able to make anything out, it was obvious there was something else in the room with me. Starting from the door, there was a massive trail of water and slime leading all the way to the bookcase on the other side of the room. I had to do something. Whatever that thing was, I knew it knew I was here, and it wasn't going to stop until it found me. However, without my wheelchair, there wasn't much I could do. I couldn't just crawl out. Without my wheelchair, I wouldn't get far. Also, since I was on the second floor, it was going to take me a lot longer to get down the stairs without making any noise. Was this really happening? Did Dr. Layton somehow make my novel come true? Did she actually manage to create a siren? No, that was impossible. Sirens aren't real. They're mythical creatures thought up by idiotic sailors on the sea to scare one another. So how was this happening? How did I end up locked inside a beach house with a siren? Was I dreaming? Was this an illusion? Wait a minute, that's it. The last thing I remember was touching that strange mirror. Perhaps touching it caused me to fall asleep, or fall victim to one of Iga's many different tricks and traps. If that's the case, then this has to be some sort of dream. I'm living out the world that I had created from my book, inside my own head. But wait, how would I even get out of here? If I'm dreaming, then shouldn't I just wake up? In the original story, the main character was put into the same exact scenario, eventually finding an old blue whistle and dying before he had a chance to use it. Is that what's going to happen to me? Am I too going to end up killing myself like him? No, I can't let that happen. I have to get back to my friends. I have to find a way out of here. Would the whistle even work, though? I never actually had the main protagonist use it, so there's no telling if it would actually work here. Geez, I never knew a plot hole would actually end up biting me back in the end. I always figured I'd leave it to the reader's imagination and never explain the full picture. Nevertheless, if this is Mora's doing, then she probably knows this and is going to use that knowledge against me. There's got to be another way to defeat the Siren. I just have to think outside the box. What if I did something Mora would never expect? Perhaps if I veered off of the written path, I might fake her out and buy me some more time. I looked around the room for anything I could use and quickly took notice to the candle sitting on a nearby shelf. Suddenly, as soon as I began to crawl out from underneath the desk, the office window bursted open with an abnormal amount of force, causing small chunks of glass to fly everywhere. Something from beyond soon began to sing, causing me to quickly realize I was bearing witness to the Siren's song without any sort of protection. As I turned around towards the bookcase, I was suddenly greeted to a horrific-looking creature spanning straight out of a horror movie. It was tall, skinny, and looked nothing like a siren I once envisioned. The creature looked at me with an immense hunger slowly beginning to slither towards me like a snail. Quickly, I crawled myself over to the candle and threw it at the creature with a fantastical force. Fantastical force. Okay. Chunks of metal and wax flew all across the room, as the blow chillingly knocked the beast back into a row of books, causing multiple shelves and desks to fall over. I pulled myself over to my wheelchair, but was quickly stopped by the creature's long tail, striking me directly in the face back into the wall of antiques. Oil and water spilled down from the cabinets, drenching the floor with clear and black liquid. The walls crackled at the sound of another bookshelf toppling over, sending a shockwave throughout the entire house. Soon enough, a fire began to ignite, filling the room with nothing but smoke and small bits of ash from the books. Adrenaline coursed through the streaks of my veins as I picked myself back up, still attempting to crawl towards my wheelchair. As I was making my way towards my wheelchair, I could feel a sharp pain stab me at the corner of my left shoulder. Turning around, I was greeted to the creature's horrific mouth, attempting to sink its needle-like teeth into my neck. Blood oozed from my wound, sending me into a state of panic. I shoved the creature off, still trying to crawl my way to the distant wheelchair. However, at this rate, I soon realized I would never make it. If I couldn't find a way to get this thing off of me, I was done for. It was a few seconds away from taking a bite out of my leg, and I had to think fast. Use the whistle. I blew the whistle as hard as I could, hoping I could somehow weaken the creature. Okay, don't use the whistle. Got it. Alright, continue crawling. Despite that, however, I continued on, hoping I could somehow shake the creature off and escape out of the house without taking yet another painful bite. Suddenly, immediately after reaching my wheelchair, I soon felt the floor beneath me begin to rumble and crack with a terrifying discomfort. Huh? The floor quickly opened up, sending both me and the creature down into the floor below. My body was in an immense amount of pain. Smoke filled the room, as I no longer knew where I even was. The siren landed just across from me, soon picking itself back up and slithered its way towards me like a slug. I could no longer open my mouth, as my body would refuse to act. Splinters and shards of wooden nails littered my body, covering me with holes of oozing blood and oil. I moved my hand over to my right, trying to feel around for anything of use, desperately trying to cling to life as the creature began before me edged closer and closer with each passing second. Surprisingly enough, my palm hovered over a piece of metal. After examining it, I eventually realized it wasn't just a shard of metal, but in fact a gun. It was a small World War II era pistol with what looked to be a full magazine of bullets filled to the brim. I quickly aimed at the creature and fired. One after another, bullets flew through the air, hitting the creature again and again with absolute precision. Regardless of how much I shot it, however, despite my best efforts, it didn't seem to be affected by it. What? How? Quickly. Use the whistle first, then shoot. A voice from beyond suddenly rang out. Moira is smart, but she's not a writer. Her story has plot holes. Use them against her before she covers her bases. Who are you? Don't worry about me. Kill that thing before it gets you. Using what little strength I had left, I reached around for the whistle and quickly blew on it. The siren stopped for a moment, almost as if confused. Using the opportunity given, I lifted my arm and fired the remainder of the bullets into the siren. It screamed out in agony as it flung itself into the pit of fire, burning its slimy skin to the core. Just gunned it down. It made one final attempt to pull me in with it, before finally succumbing to the burning flames. Its pale body soon exploded, sending a shiver of ash flying all over the burning house. It worked. Is it dead? Cough, cough. It actually worked. The voice in my head was telling the truth. Checkmate, Moira. My stories are better than yours. I'm not letting you die yet. You still have work to do. Your friends need you. Huh? Is that like the original Yuko? Like, is she still alive? Or is that somebody else? Or it might be Alethea. What the? Where's Alethea? She was literally just here. Wait a minute. Did she? Yeah, I think she did. She just saved Emmy. So that's what happened. Emmy should have bit the dust. The thing had her cornered, and she still managed to come out on top. You're telling me that a strand saved her? Come on, that's ridiculous. Why would she have any reason to help us? Because she's our friend? What about Kyoko? She's still trapped as well. Alethea. Emmy. And there's Kyoko. No, please, make it stop. Make it stop. Whoa, whoa, calm down. You're safe now. You're not in any danger. Please, God, make it stop. Make it stop. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. Hey, hey, slow down. You're okay now. Like Yuko said, you're not in any danger. The strand saved you. It made sure the evil doctor couldn't hurt you. You made it out. You're safe now. Oh my god, Kyoko, are you okay? Did you get hurt? We only saw what happened to Emmy. I can't imagine what you had to go through as well. Akio? Kyoko grabs a hold of Akio and hugs him as tight as she can. I was so scared. Who were those people? Why did they look so similar to you? Huh? Kyoko's pocket dimension was much different than Emmy's. Weirdly enough, Kyoko's hell made even less sense than Emmy's. Her mirror was a lot tougher to break through and required a tremendous amount of energy on my part. Strange, I wonder why. No, 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 no. You were supposed to die, not escape. I had it all planned out. You were never meant to win. Damn you, Alethea, and your entire hive mind of leeches. I thought humans were your enemy. Why are you helping them? This can't be happening. This can't be happening. You'll pay for this. You'll all pay for this. Watch your back, Strand. Your reign of terror is nearing its end. Soon you'll stand no chance against the likes of me. You idiot. Do you not realize that the world is about to end? Save your temper tantrum for later. Soon enough, you won't have a society to live in. Lies. All lies. I've seen how it all plays out. You're dead to me. You're all dead to me. Yuko, we need to leave now. I don't know much longer reality is able to sustain itself. We need to get back into my world before it's too late. We're running out of time. Not yet. We haven't seen the whole picture. Alethea is building something, and we need to stop it. Alethea is building something. Shouldn't it be Moira? Moira is building something. Not just that. We need to figure out how she caused the first time fracture. If we can figure that out, then perhaps we can still stop reality from collapsing. Are you insane? You can't fix the first time fracture. Better yet, you can't fix a time fracture, period. It would only cause more time fractures. There's no way to stop reality from breaking down. We'll see about that. Everyone, search this lab for any clues. Once we're done, we're going up. Yuko. Moira is obviously above us, thus why we need to hurry. We're running out of time. If we don't get to the bottom of this, then we're all doomed. But Yuko, you did well, Amy. But we're not out of this yet. Stick with me and we'll get through this, I promise. Yuko, I'm scared. I am too. But we can't give up, not yet. We're still missing a big piece of the puzzle, and I'm not leaving until I figure it out. Come on, we need to hurry. Careful not to run into any more traps. There's a panel on the wall. It reads, Keycard Upgrade Station. I might be able to upgrade my keycard with this. Upgraded clearance level, floor 200F now unlocked. So we now have access to the 200th floor. What the hell was that? Did anyone else feel that? Yeah. What was that? It made my head hurt. Same here. It almost made me fall over. Was it an earthquake? That wasn't an earthquake. Oh, the time fracture's coming. We need to head down to the elevator. Oh. Or we might be able to access that one elevator on the 50th floor. That might be the one that leads up to the 200th floor. Let me save it real quick because I am not going through that Oregon Trail section. Hold up. $4:30, holy crap. Let's go up. There's nothing left for us down here. Once we find Mora, we'll figure out what to do next. Chapter 4. I have a question for you. What exactly is it that motivates you? Huh? Your determination is quite commendable. I don't think I've ever seen anything like it. What is it that keeps you going? This might come as a surprise, but I'm not as motivated as one might think. Sure, I care for my friends, but truth be told, I don't really have any long-term goals. I don't have much meaning in my life compared to most people. I do what I must because I have to, that's all. If I die along the way, then so be it. Sometimes being productive is a good way to take your mind off things. If all I did was worry, then surely nothing would get done. Being productive? Is that another way of saying being inspired? Yuko, I have to admit, when I saw your memories inside the brain, it started to make me wonder, what exactly does inspiration mean to you? It means a lot of things. Personally, I've always had a hard time conveying emotions. Everywhere I went, people would look at me funny, almost like they were expecting something out of me. And I used to think to myself, am I not good enough? Am I not the person people want? After a while, something clicked in my brain. I eventually became obsessed with trying to one-up everyone and became a walking machine, hell-bent on working myself to death. My inspiration turned into obsession, slowly morphing itself into a hunger for satisfaction. My lifestyle of always having to live in poverty started to make me crave attention. Eventually, I snapped. I wanted nothing more than an idea to get me going. An idea that could somehow transform into something bigger and allow me to escape a lifestyle I so dreaded. Alia thought the same thing too, and it ended up driving her mad. She became a murderous machine, killing anything that stood in her way to become the best. Perfection isn't a lifestyle, it's a goal. We aren't superheroes, we're human. We make mistakes. Perfection isn't going to make you feel anything. If you truly want to be the best, then understand your limits and work hard at it. There's no need to obsess over something that takes time. Humans and strands are a lot more similar than I thought. It kind of makes me sad. You? Sad? Why? Because deep down, I realized that me and you could never live together. Huh? I know what you said about humans and strands, but if you really think about it, is it even possible? Strands actively feast on human memories to keep themselves alive. We're a bacteria, a virus that was created to leach themselves into an unwilling host. Everything about our existence feels like one big mistake, almost like we were never meant to be. That's not true. We can find a way to make things work. Once we take Moors down and stand up to your leader, everything will start to change, you'll see. I mean, like I said, if you require human memories in order to survive, if you wipe out all of humanity, then you're going to eventually just starve yourself to death, essentially. So it's better to try to figure out a way to coexist, because like you're really dependent on humans, and if you wipe them out, you die too. What about when it's all over? What then? Do we just pretend like nothing ever happened? Oh, sorry for killing 90% of your race. We'll leave you alone now. My bad. It'll never happen. As long as the darkening exists, things will never go back to normal. Even if we somehow fix time and make things go back to the way they used to be, that doesn't solve our hunger for memories. My head. You feel it, don't you? That's the feeling of time itself changing. I can sense it. That static feeling in your head. That's the feeling of something major occurring. An event so big it actively rippling the waves in between our worlds. What? That's what that is? Now that time is breaking down, you're going to be feeling that a lot more than usual. My world isn't just another realm, it's the link that keeps reality flowing. Even without the time fractures, if Leighton manages to destroy the hive mind, it'll doom all of reality as well. What? How? I don't know what we are. I don't know what our purpose is. All I know is that the darkening keeps our universe standing. We were never meant to be active. Looking back at it now, I don't even know how you humans triggered us. Our existence is minuscule. A sight that could only be seen through a microscope. The fact that Leighton got her hands on a strand means she's a lot more dangerous than you think. Himden University. It's the only explanation. Moira has access to the dissolvent, That means she was in contact with them. Can't be a coincidence that Camden University is the only known associate to have access to a weapon capable of killing the Darkening. If you ask me, they're the cause behind all of this. You really think so? I'm willing to bet on it. If we want to end this, that's where we need to head. Camden University likely knew about the Darkening before anyone else, thus why they were the first to create a cure. After we're done here, that's where we need to go. I have a feeling Camden University will have all of the answers we're looking for. Once again, we don't have any. We can fix this, Alethea, trust me. We've made it this far. We can't give up now. You claim this university will have all the answers to everything. Take it from me. Sometimes the truth isn't always worth seeking. What do you mean? Are you saying we shouldn't go? No, not at all. I have little to no knowledge of my own existence. If I don't even know what I am, then what makes you think humans have any idea? Still worth a try. Do as you wish. Just don't be surprised if things don't go the way you expect. I don't know, what if the Darkening was created by humans? Like, literally created. Alright, here we are. Floor 200. The tower only has 300 floors, so we're getting close to the top. Everyone spread out and look for clues. Moira couldn't have left the tower. I can hear the sound of rain. It must be pouring outside. Hopefully it goes away by the time we get out of here. Never mind that. Just be on your best guard. Moira might have more traps set up. Oh, there's another wave. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and end the episode here. Because it's looking like this is probably going to take like another hour or two to beat. So, yeah, I'm going to end it here. I thought it would just be like all the way up to chapter 3, because like the previous couple episodes only led up to chapter 3, but nah, this one actually has a 4th chapter. But if you guys enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. So until next time, have a good day.